On election night, the system appears to function as expected. The polls close, the numbers roll in, providing a clear picture of the people's voice. For candidate Spencer Pratt, that picture was a landslide. He held a double-digit lead, dominating the in-person vote and the early mail-in ballots. By midnight, he maintained a 40,000-vote lead over his nearest competitor. But as the days progressed, the math shifted. 7 days after the election, a steady influx of late mail-in ballots erased that 40,000-vote deficit, resulting in a swing of more than 43,000 votes. Media outlets often attribute late surges to the red mirage, but that theory falls apart under scrutiny. While there were 2 Democrats in this race, this massive anomalous spike in late votes favored only a single candidate who needed that exact margin to win. That net swing of 43,000 votes matches the specific number of homeless individuals officially recorded living on the streets of Los Angeles. When a targeted statistical spike for one candidate aligns perfectly with the size of a specific vulnerable population, the data suggests an engineered heist rather than a historical phenomenon. The fundamental flaw in this system is best understood through an analogy. While robbing a bank remains illegal, the state has fundamentally rewritten the rules governing the building itself. In this scenario, they have banned security cameras, removed the vault doors, and passed laws making it impossible to count the money inside. The theft is still a crime, but the mechanism to prevent it has been neutralized. This translates directly to the reality of mail-in voting. Unsolicited ballots flood into open environments like mailboxes and parking lots, with zero traceability once the ballot is separated from its envelope. Legislators have actively designed blind spots into the process, ensuring that fraudulent ballots are impossible to track back to their source once they enter the system. To find the architects of this system, we have to look at the executive decisions made at the highest levels of government. Just 5 days before the election, Governor Gavin Newsom signed legislation that banned federal and independent authorities from investigating vote fraud or overseeing the counting process. This 11th-hour timing was a calculated move, preventing the courts from reviewing or overturning the law before the election took place. At the same time, signature verification has been hollowed out. A legal loophole allows for a crude mark, even a happy face, to count as a valid signature, provided a witness signs off on it. By neutralizing independent oversight and rendering signature checks meaningless, the state dismantled the barriers meant to catch fraud, essentially inviting ballot harvesters into the process. With the safeguards removed, the operation shifts to the street. This is the factory floor where the deregulated system is exploited. Political NGOs and harvesters specifically target the massive homeless population on Skid Row, utilizing them as a source for bulk voting. The transaction is a direct violation of the law. Harvesters offer cash or a plate of food to desperate individuals in exchange for their blank, unvoted ballots. These harvesters operate an industrialized line on the street, explicitly telling voters which bubbles to fill or illegally completing the ballots themselves. Modern political theft scales its impact by systematically exploiting the most destitute members of society. There is a stark contrast between the gritty street hustle and the pristine, organized environment of the official ballot counting centers. The workers inside these centers perform a flawless, robotic job of processing the paper they receive. However, counting anonymous, untraceable ballots with absolute precision does not equate to a secure election. If the ballots were obtained through illegal means upstream, the count itself is a deception. Demanding a recount of these separated ballots is a hollow exercise, as it will only mathematically verify a result that was fabricated before it ever reached the building. The public counting center acts as a laundering operation, providing a stamp of democratic legitimacy to a fundamentally compromised product. After a stolen election, the standard response involves protests, rallies, and public complaints. The elite establishment expects this reaction and can easily dismiss it. Breaking an industrialized crime ring requires a dramatic shift from public outcry to a cold, aggressive criminal investigation. Immediately following the statistical spike, private investigators were deployed to Skid Row to record video confessions of illegal vote buying directly from the source. This silent intelligence gathering culminated in a federal response, where 20 FBI agents raided the areas where the fraud was concentrated. Raw evidence from the street only becomes useful when serious investigators forge it into undeniable legal proof. The survival of the electoral system for all citizens is a concern that far outweighs the loss of any single campaign. I have transitioned from a candidate to a vanguard. If I must act as a kamikaze pilot to expose this machine and restore the vote, I will accept that role. To the operators of the vote factory, your actions are being documented, and the process of gathering evidence against you is ongoing. Restoring faith in our elections requires more than just exposure. It requires the architects of the vote factory to face justice in handcuffs.